All right, thanks for tuning in. Our topic today is the bracha of Sha'asa Nisim, which we say when we light Chanukah candles, the history of the bracha and its function. The brachot that are recited upon lighting the Chanukah candles are familiar to pretty much all of us, and we often recite them with tunes that are very well known, and the tunes are very celebratory. They lend a joyous mood to the lighting of the Chanukah candles. It often seems that everyone says and has always said these brachot in the exact same way, with the exact same tune. Baruch atah Hashem Elokeinu melech haolam, she'asa nisim la'avoteinu bayamim ha'hem ba'azman hazeh. Yet, the text of the bracha wasn't always perfectly set. This is especially true when it comes to this specific bracha, the second one of Sha'asa Nisim. If we look at the Gemara that serves as the source that this bracha actually exists, we don't see a real text, and it's not clear that the brachot were said exactly the same way that we know them. And it's not also 100% clear if this is similar to any other brachot that we know. So let's take a look at this Gemara and see what we can find out. The Gemara in Shabbat of Chaf Gimel and Aleph quotes an opinion of Rabbi Bar Ashi, who says in the name of Rav, Hamalik ner shel Chanukah tzarich livarech. The one who lights the Chanukah candles has to make a blessing. Seemingly, it's not clear what blessing he's talking about. Rav Yirmiyah Amar, Rav Yirmiyah then says, Haro'eh ner shel Chanukah tzarich livarech. One who sees the Chanukah candle is required to make a blessing. Now, there are a lot of different ways to read this machloket. It's not clear if they're kind of arguing over the fact they kind of assume that maybe there's one bracha, and it's not, and whether you say it on seeing the Chanukah candles or lighting the Chanukah candles. It certainly seems like they don't have exactly the same practice that we now have, which is understandable given that the way halakha unfolds from this Gemara and on through the poskim. As the Gemara continues, we find something that looks a little more like what we have nowadays. Amar Rav Yehuda. Rav Yehuda says, Yom Rishon haro'em mevarech shtayim umadlik mevarech shalosh. On the first day, someone who only sees the Chanukah candles will make 2 brachot, and one who lights the Chanukah candles will make 3 brachot. Mikan ve'elach, on every other night, madlik mivarech shtayim, the one who lights the Chanukah candles would make 2 brachot. V'ro'eh mivarech achad, and one who only sees the Chanukah candles would make 1 bracha. Ma'ay mima'eh, so which bracha is subtracted from the first night to the future nights? Mima'eh zman, it would seem like the bracha of zman, which we know as shehecheyanu, is eliminated after the first night. So on the first night you would make a bracha of the halik ner shel Chanukah, and then the Sha'asa Nisim, which again the Gemara doesn't mention by that name, and then you'd say shehecheyanu. And on future nights you would not say shehecheyanu, you'd be left with 2 if you're lighting and 1 if you're simply seeing. The Gemara suggests v'nimot nes, why don't we get rid of the bracha of the nes? The Gemara explains, no, nes kol yomei ite. The miracle continues through all the days, and therefore the bracha that we say about the miracle, the Sha'asa Nisim bracha, should be recited each day. Now again, when I say the Sha'asa Nisim bracha, the Gemara doesn't call it by that name. The Gemara simply calls it nes. It only gets the specific text of Sha'asa Nisim as the Geonim and then early Rishonim specifically give it that text of Sha'asa Nisim la'avoteinu bayamim ha'hem ba'azman hazeh. Now that text itself was a little bit in flux, but by the time we got to the early Rishonim, to Rav Sadia Gaon and the Machzor Vitri, it seems like that was the text Sha'asa Nisim la'avoteinu bayamim ha'hem ba'azman hazeh. Now, when we think about that phrase, Sha'asa Nisim la'avoteinu, blessed is God who did miracles for our ancestors, bayamim ha'hem, during those days, meaning in the past, during the time of Chanukah, Bazman Hazeh. Now, Bazman Hazeh, the most natural way to understand it, if we see this as a pure bracha of praise to God, is Bazman Hazeh means at this time of year, this kind of calendar time, the December / Kislev winter time, during this time of the year, by Imam during those days, that's when God did these miracles for our ancestors, and that's why we're celebrating now and praising God. However, there's also a possibility that the end of the bracha serves as a sort of prayer. That just as God provided these miracles for our nation so many years ago, by Yom Mahim, so may God provide miracles for us nowadays, Bazman Hazeh. Indeed, Rav Sadia Gaon says this almost explicitly about the identical phrase of Bayamim Mahim Bazman Hazeh that's found in the Al Hanisim prayer. He says, Kishem she'asita nistin larishonim, just like you, God, did miracles for those who came before us. Kach taseh la'achronim, so should you, God, do miracles for those who came later, meaning us. V'toshienu bayamim ha'elu, and you should save us during these days, ki bayamim ha'hem, just as God saved the Jews during those days. Now, that's actually very interesting that we have a bracha that is, on the one hand, a bracha of praise, and on the other hand, also has an element of bakasha, of some sort of request in it. It's actually not easy to find parallel brachot that are hybrids of both praising God and asking for things from God. this is not exactly the time to go really into this, but it might be similar to what we do on Pesach, right before the end of Magid, when we praise God for the miracles and then pray that God should continue these miracles for us nowadays. And it might be fair to suggest that that's a parallel. And when we say the bracha of She'asani Sim on both Purim and Chanukah, we are similarly trying to re-experience the miracles of those times and pray for similar salvation in the present. And hopefully we will earn that salvation from God nowadays. Thank you.